If you're interested in combining customer loyalty and subscription revenue, Claris Commerce can help. Named a contender in the Forrester Wave Loyalty Solutions Q2 2021, Claris is the only company solely focused on premium loyalty programs for retailers, from the technology platform to the services needed for a successful program. To learn more, download Claris's premium loyalty content bundle at clariscommerce.com/total retail.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan of Total Retail, and I am joined on today's show by Michael Stein, who is the head of e-commerce at Coleman Furniture. Michael and I will be discussing how Coleman Furniture is using artificial intelligence to improve the shopping experience for its customers. Thanks for joining me today, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get started by having you tell our audience a little bit about Coleman Furniture for those that might not be familiar with the company.
Sure. Coleman Furniture is an online retailer. We're exclusively online. We're part of Renegade Furniture Group, which is our parent company. We've been around since 1999, and we specialize in direct-to-consumer, although we're also a wholesaler as well as a manufacturer.
Great. This provides a nice background for us. In 1999, you guys were one of the first, I would imagine, in the space at that time.
Coleman's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, that's great. So as I noted, Coleman is operating in a very competitive product category, furniture. This is both online and offline competition. So let's talk a little bit about what the company is doing to use technology to differentiate itself and capture market share in this category.
Sure. So utilizing technology has been able to give us an advantage, in my opinion, over brick and mortar in many capacities, because we're able to show customers so much more than if they were, specifically going to their local furniture store. Being able to not only stay competitive with the Amazons of the world, as well as the brick and mortar stores that customers are able to reach, we're able to offer a larger selection, similar to many other online retailers, but we're able to use the technology to show more relevant and more personal experiences to our customers.
And those experiences, I would imagine that's both across desktop and mobile.
Correct.
Those experiences that you're able to share.
Correct.
So maybe I think it might be a good idea if you could share a couple of examples of how Coleman Furniture is using specifically visual search and personalization. I mentioned the company's use of AI in the introduction, kind of that AI technology powering visual search and personalization, and how you believe that improves your customers' experience.
Sure. So we use AI in many capacities through the site, whether it's through our search tool or our visual similar tool, which is from site, or our email marketing. But what we're trying to use this for is when a customer comes to the website and they're looking for furniture, oftentimes customers don't know exactly what they're looking for. A lot of the manufacturers have very different terms, as in what one brand would consider to be modern furniture, another brand might consider that to be contemporary. Meanwhile, the customer might be having a Soho beach type of vibe that they're trying to look for. So, furniture is not it's not a product most people shop for very often. So whether it's not knowing the name or not knowing the style or the look or the exact type of color, being able to use AI allows us to deliver more personal and more accurate results as far as what someone's looking for. So we're able to use the technology to deliver results based on what someone's looking for. If someone's searching for specific colors in a specific category, we can start to prioritize those items, because we can take these data points and start to show the results based on the actual activity, not just what we think the customer would be looking for.
And that activity, I would imagine, is browsing activity, and in the case if you might have it, purchase a history as well.
Certainly we could do it in those capacities, but it's also really what the customer might enter in on the site for. If they're looking at if they were to type a specific query into Google, potentially we can show certain experiences based on what they're typing in, or what we believe those searches would, what the customer would be looking for through those searches.
And then you make the point that a lot of customers, for furniture, it's not an everyday purchase or a weekly or monthly purchase. They're not making these purchases frequently. So is a higher percentage of your customers coming to the site through search? And then once they land on the site, are they using site search? And have you kind of tested how that tool is working in terms of personalization of search results in comparing the conversion rate of your customers that are using site search versus those that are not?
Absolutely. So as far as what the first part of your question, you're 100% correct. Most people are not shopping for furniture very often. Second to, I guess, your house or your car. For most people, furniture could be a very expensive purchase, and there's a lot of time and consideration from the time that they're entering the journey. And it also depends on where people are at in their journey. We find that customers will start shopping with us maybe if they know that they're going to be moving into a bigger house in 6 months, if they're upgrading from a studio to a single family residence, if they need something immediately. It really just depends on where they're at and when they start searching. And it also depends on what they're actually looking for. Now, we'll take something like the AI similar tool that we were talking about, Site, and we're allowing customers to find inspiration, whether it's through our site of curated images that we're able to show customers, or if a customer has a look that maybe they found it on Pinterest or they found it on Instagram or Facebook, and they see something that they like, we're able to let them upload that image to the site, and we can find those items and match them against our catalog and let them see the items that they're actually looking for. That's probably one use case. The other use case would be potentially if someone's looking at a specific sofa and they want to see what else we have, we can show them the other similar items based on that exact sofa. So whether it's color or style or price, it'll take all these data points and show them the most relevant results.
Yeah. And at that point, the most relevant, and then they're most likely to get what they want, which will help increase your conversion. Which leads me into my next question, Michael, in terms of looking at some of the business benefits that Coleman Furniture has realized since it implemented visual search and personalization technology. You mentioned your work with the company's site. Tell us a little about some of the business benefits that you've realized.
So we've seen about a 686% increase in our average revenue per user who uses site. We've seen about a 29% higher average order value for those that utilize it. Conversion rate is about 7.1% higher for those who use it. And I think one of the biggest benefits is it will allow customers to find what they're looking for. Unlike a retail store where they only have so much square footage that they can, show you the selections, we have a massive catalog. And if someone starts looking for a sofa, there could be hundreds or thousands of results. And being able to use something like Site will allow us to pinpoint more relevant items to them in a much shorter time span.
To your point earlier, you're not limited by the physical confines of a showroom. You're kind of your high SKU count and kind of that endless aisle approach that you're providing your customers.
That's correct.
So let's talk a little bit about kind of the current state of your industry and your particular segment of the retail space in furniture. What has Coleman Furniture done to account for any pandemic-related challenges as well as opportunities? Many furniture, home decor, some of the home categories have really seen some increase in demand over the last year or so. Tell us a little about what you've seen at Coleman Furniture and how you've kind of adjusted or made any shifts to account for some of those changes.
Sure. So with the pandemic and so many of the brick and mortar stores closing, it's forced users to go online to find furniture or other home goods that they're looking for. So from our standpoint, it's always been a priority to make the user experiences as good as possible. Using tools like Site or our search tools or our AR or our user-generated content, it will allow customers to get closer to having that look and feel, almost trying to mimic a touch sensation so they know what they can expect. Buying online can certainly be daunting for some people if you've never purchased it. It is a big commitment. And if you're buying a sofa or a bed, anything that we can do to sort of make sure someone knows exactly what they're getting and let them understand what it's going to feel like in their home, in their own space, because I'm sure many people have seen something that looks great in the showroom, then they get it into their house and it's not exactly what they were looking for. So, something like Site or any of these other tools is just another sort of layer in trying to improve our customer experience.
And some of the metrics that you're looking at, to your point, this isn't a frequent purchase, so maybe repeat purchase rate is a long tail metric. What are some of the things that you're identifying as being critical to see the performance of your site? Is it conversion rate? I would imagine average order value, referral rate, maybe. Tell us a little about some of the things specific to the personalization technology and the visual search technology that you've implemented. Are those the things that you're looking at to see increases in?
Yeah, it really just depends on the metric that we're trying to gauge as far as which KPI we would use to sort of gauge the success of it. Certainly, conversion rate is important. Having a high ticket item that has a longer life cycle, conversion rate isn't necessarily in my opinion, the best or the only metric that we would put our focus on. Certainly average time on site. We know that when people start looking and browsing and engaging with it, or with any of the tools on our site, that they're more likely to convert. Certainly making sure that we can show someone, if someone's looking at a sofa, if we can show them a relevant coffee table that makes sense for their room, then again, that would be another touch point that would help add to the average order value. And it also depends on the category of where someone's browsing.
Yeah. And I was going to follow up and say, do you find that your customers are coming to the site 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times before they make a purchase? To your point about conversion rate might not be the best metric to initially, determine whether something's working or not.
Sure. It really just depends. I mean, if someone is purely looking at us from a price standpoint and they saw something at a retail store and they're just price shopping it out and they already know what they want, they see that we have the lowest price. Sure, that could be a one-click visit and conversion on a single visit. There's other people that have no idea of what they're looking for, and it's just at the top, and it wouldn't even be unreasonable that they come to our site 10 plus times. So it really just depends on where they enter. And I think trying to understand where their search intent is helps us know what type of tools we need to be able to show the most relevant experiences at that time frame for that specific customer.
So my final question, Michael, is we've talked a lot about what you've done already in terms of implementing some of the AI technology and applications for it on your website. My next question is, where does that lead you in terms of what you're focusing on next at Coleman Furniture?
So one of our biggest priorities is to continue to be able to deliver user-generated content and incorporate that into other aspects throughout the site. So if someone's looking at maybe someone's looking for a specific sofa, and then we're able to show them similar items. We want to be able to take that a step further by showing them what it looks like in other people's homes who've already purchased it. That I think is probably on our next roadmap.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Michael Stein, the head of e-commerce at Coleman Furniture, for joining us on today's episode of Total Retail Talks. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Claris Commerce can build, manage, and optimize a premium loyalty program for your brand that combines customer loyalty and subscription revenue. To learn more, download Claris's premium loyalty content bundle at clariscommerce.com/totalretail.